In a mystical kingdom far beyond the human realm, there lived a fairy queen named Alara, the ruler of the Silverwing court. Her beauty was unparalleled, and her wisdom was unmatched, but her heart was cold. She had always known that her throne was her true destiny, a role she had been groomed for from birth. Yet, despite her power and status, she had always wondered about the world beyond the shimmering gates of the Silverwing court, the mortal world. Alara's twin sister, Lila, had lived her entire life as a human. While Alara reveled in the magic and grandeur of the fairy realm, Lila had tasted the raw simplicity of mortal existence. Lila had always been curious about her sister's life, but more importantly, she was fascinated by the stories Alara told her about the fairy court and the magic that flowed through the veins of their kind. The two had grown up as close as two souls could be, bound by a shared bond, but also separated by the immense gap in their worlds. One evening, as the stars aligned in a celestial display, Alara made a decision that would change both their lives forever. She grew tired of the rigidity of fairy politics, the constant demands of her throne, and the endless expectations placed upon her. She wanted to experience the mortal world, the simple pleasures, the fleeting joys, and the heartbreaks that came with it. She wanted to feel alive in a way that ruling over an entire kingdom could never make her feel. But to do so, she would need a taste of humanity. The idea came to her in a moment of madness. What if she swapped places with Lila, even if only for a short time? Lila, after all, had always dreamed of experiencing the magic of the fairy realm. And Alara, for all her power, had always longed for the unpredictability of a mortal life. Alara cast a powerful spell, swapping her appearance with Lila's. In the blink of an eye, the two sisters found themselves living in each other's worlds, with Alara in the human realm and Lila in the fairy realm. At first, the experience was everything Alara had hoped for. She reveled in the emotions that came with being human, the vulnerability, the fleeting moments of joy, the ability to love without the constraints of royalty. She fell in love with the simple pleasures of the human world, from the warm touch of a lover's hand to the scent of wildflowers on a summer's breeze. Most of all, she found herself falling in love with a mortal man named Caleb, a young man with kind eyes and an adventurous spirit. Alara could feel his love for her grow every day, and she, too, was drawn to him. Meanwhile, Lila, in the fairy realm, had quickly discovered that life in Alara's world was far more complex than she had imagined. The fairy court was full of intrigue, power struggles, and ancient rivalries. Every move she made was scrutinized, and the pressure to uphold the dignity of the crown was overwhelming. But Lila was determined to make the most of the opportunity. She spent her days learning the ways of the court and the magic that Alara had used to maintain control over their kingdom. She was drawn to the beauty and power that the fairy realm held, and she quickly became enamored with the idea of ruling as her sister had. But the longer Lila stayed in the fairy kingdom, the more she realized that her connection to Alara's life went beyond mere curiosity. She was beginning to feel the pull of the throne, the weight of responsibility, and the desire to wield power. Lila grew fond of her newfound life, and she found herself taking on more of Alara's duties, believing she could do better than her sister had ever done. Back in the human world, Alara's relationship with Caleb grew deeper. But as time passed, she began to feel something unsettling. She realized that her love for Caleb was becoming more complicated. What she had initially thought was a fleeting human emotion had grown into something far more profound. But as her feelings for Caleb deepened, she began to notice that something was off. Caleb had started to withdraw, becoming distant and cold. Alara could feel the strain in their relationship, and it wasn't long before she discovered the truth. Lila, in the fairy realm, had stolen more than just Alara's throne. She had also stolen Caleb's heart. Unbeknownst to Alara, Lila, in her pursuit of power, had seduced Caleb, drawing him into a web of lies. Caleb had fallen in love with Lila, believing her to be the true Alara, unaware of the swap that had taken place. When Alara realized that Lila had not only betrayed her trust but had also taken Caleb from her, something inside her snapped. The rage that Alara had kept hidden for so long was unleashed, and with it came a determination to reclaim what was hers. She would not let Lila destroy everything she had worked so hard to build. She had been the queen for so long, and no mere mortal, or her treacherous sister, was going to take that from her. Alara returned to the fairy kingdom, her heart hardened with resolve. She confronted Lila in the grand hall of the fairy court, where the two sisters stood face to face for the first time since the swap. The air was thick with tension as Alara spoke. "You think you can take everything from me, Lila? My throne, My life, my love. Alara's voice was cold and sharp, every word laced with venom. Lila stood tall, her eyes narrowed. I'm not taking anything from you, Alara. I'm simply taking what is rightfully mine. You had your chance. Now it's my turn. The two sisters engaged in a fierce battle of wills, magic crackling in the air around them. The kingdom watched as their queen and her twin fought for dominance, but only one could emerge victorious. In the end, Alara proved too powerful, reclaiming her throne and banishing Lila from the fairy realm. But the damage had already been done. Caleb, heartbroken and disillusioned, left Alara behind, unable to forgive her for what had transpired. As Alara sat on her throne, the weight of her actions settled in. She had reclaimed everything, but at a great cost. And now, the question that lingered in the air was clear: was it worth it? The fairy queen had everything she ever wanted, but she had lost the one thing she could never regain, her sister's love in her mortal heart.